Almost anyone can train a machine learning model these days, but building one that actually succeeds in the real world, that's a completely different story. And the difference isn't just about the code, it's all about strategy. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on ShopSmart's customer churn model to really dig into the 3 critical decisions that took a good algorithm and turned it into an absolute business-changing asset.
First things first, let's talk about the stakes. $7.5 million. That's the annual revenue ShopSmart was losing, just bleeding out, because customers were leaving. So this wasn't some theoretical problem or a little side project. No, this was a multi-million-dollar fire that they needed to put out, and fast. The pressure was really on to deliver something that actually worked.
So to tackle this massive problem, the team started with their strongest asset, their data. They'd already done a lot of the heavy lifting, engineering 12 really powerful features that could predict customer behavior. But here's the thing, data alone doesn't make you money. It just sits there. They were at this crucial turning point, asking themselves, how do we strategically build a model that can take all this great data and turn it into real profitable business decisions?
Their first decision was absolutely fundamental. If you think of your model as a high-performance car, this is all about choosing the perfect engine. It's not about just picking the newest, most complicated option you can find. It's about picking the one that's perfectly suited for the specific race you're trying to win. And you can see right here that their choice was purely data-driven. They didn't just go with the flavor of the month. They benchmarked several different options against the metrics that truly matter in a live production system. Now, a neural network might have been close on pure accuracy, but XGBoost came out on top because it had the best overall balance of performance, speed, and that all-important explainability.
So let's break it down. Why was XGBoost the clear winner here? Well, it's an absolute master of tabular data. The classic rows and columns you see in a spreadsheet, which is exactly what customer info looks like. It's also incredibly fast when it comes to making predictions, which is essential for a live system. But honestly, these last 3 points are the real strategic game changers. It has built-in tools to handle imbalanced data, it can actually explain why it made a prediction, and it runs efficiently on regular CPUs, which keeps costs down. It was just a really pragmatic, powerful choice.
All right, so with the engine selected, ShopSmart ran straight into their next major hurdle, and this is one that sinks countless real-world projects, a severe class imbalance. This is exactly where a technically correct model can become a complete business failure.
So I want you to think about this for a second. What happens when most of your data points to a good outcome? Sounds great, right? But for a machine learning model, this can actually be a huge trap. And here's the trap. With 85% of your customers sticking around, a lazy model could just predict no churn for absolutely everybody, and still brag about having an 85% accuracy rate. But that model would be completely useless, because it would fail at its one and only job, finding that critical 15% of customers who are about to walk out the door. So instead of going through all sorts of complex beta resampling, the team made a really elegant and strategic move that uses a single, powerful parameter built right into XGBoost called scale_pause_weight. Think of it like a magnifying glass. It tells the model during training, hey, I know there aren't many examples of these churning customers, but you need to pay extra close attention to them. They're the ones that matter most.
And this was the magic number. By setting scale_pause_weight to 5.67, which is just the ratio of happy customers to the at-risk ones, they essentially forced the model to treat finding a single churner as being over 5 times more important than correctly flagging a happy customer. This one little parameter perfectly aligned the model's math with the company's actual business goals.
Pretty cool, huh?
So now the model is accurate and it's focused on the right problem. But this final strategic decision was arguably the most important one of all. It's about moving beyond just getting correct answers to building a system that is transparent, trustworthy, and legally sound.
And this part is absolutely non-negotiable. Regulations like GDPR have something called a right to explanation. What that means is if your model makes a decision about a person, like flagging them as a churn risk, you have to be able to explain why it did that. It's not just a nice feature to have, it's the law.
This basically forced ShopSmart to pick one of 2 paths. There's the black box path, where the model's logic is a total mystery. That's risky, it's opaque, and it's non-compliant. Then there's the glass box path. This leads to a system that builds trust with everyone, customers, internal teams, because it's transparent and totally ready for any kind of regulatory checkup.
So how did they actually build this glass box? They used a powerful tool called SHAP.
It's a brilliant method that lets you look at any single prediction, say for a customer named Jane, and it will tell you exactly which factors pushed her churn risk up or down. It might say, her risk is high mostly because it's been 120 days since her last purchase, and that single factor contributed 40% to her overall risk score. It's incredibly specific.
So, what happens when you combine all three of these strategic decisions? You don't just get a model, you get a reliable, robust business solution that you can count on.
It all comes together in a really simple but powerful story. First, they chose the right engine for the job, XGBoost. Second, they solved the core business problem of imbalance with just a single parameter. And third, they made sure the entire system was transparent and trustworthy using SHAP. It's a fantastic playbook.
This was the final accuracy of the model. But that number, 83%, isn't the whole story. It's the results of the story. It's the outcome they achieved because they made the right strategic choices at every single step, not because they were just blindly chasing a metric.
And this right here is the most important takeaway. A successful production model is about so much more than just its accuracy score. ShopSmart created a system that was also robust enough to handle messy real-world data, it was fair in how it treated all its customers, and it was compliant with critical regulations. That is the definition of a strategically sound model.
So as we wrap up, I'll just leave you with this question to think about for your own work. It's pretty easy to build a model that looks accurate on a spreadsheet. It's much, much harder, but infinitely more valuable, to build one that is truly strategically sound.